This story took place in a small village nestled at the edge of a dense forest. The trees stood tall and still, their branches barely moving in the gentle breeze. For years, the forest had been a place of peace, where locals would occasionally wander in for a stroll or an adventure. But today, something different was stirring. Luna, a small gray tabby cat, was making her usual rounds near the edge of the woods. She had no owner, but the villagers all knew her. Luna was a bit of a local legend, independent, smart, and fearless. She was often seen slipping in and out of the forest, hunting or exploring, and never straying too far from the village. But today her behavior was strange. Luna moved quickly, her ears twitching at every sound, her sharp green eyes scanning the trees as if searching for something. There was a restlessness in her steps, a sense of urgency. She darted deeper into the forest, following a sound almost too faint for human ears to catch. The forest floor was soft beneath her paws, and the air smelled of damp earth. Then Luna froze. There, in a small clearing just beyond a fallen tree, she found something that made her pause. It was small, wrapped in a thin blanket. A baby, alone, helpless and crying. Welcome back to PlotTwister. Before we unravel today's mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always in the loop. Luna took a step closer, her curiosity mixed with an unusual sense of responsibility. The baby's cries were soft but desperate. It was cold, and the blanket offered little warmth. Without hesitation, Luna approached, sniffing around the baby, circling it. She nudged the small body gently with her nose, trying to figure out what to do next. The baby kept crying, and Luna could feel the urgency. Her instincts told her this was no ordinary moment. She crouched low beside the infant, pressing her warm body against it, trying to provide whatever comfort she could. But she knew this wasn't enough. Something had to be done. Luna lifted her head, meowing loudly into the quiet forest. Someone had to hear. Luna stayed close to the baby, her soft fur brushed against the small, fragile body. The crying continued, piercing through the stillness of the forest. Luna meowed again, louder this time, but no one responded. She paced around the infant, desperate. Her instincts, those of a hunter and a survivor, told her the baby was in danger. The forest was growing colder, and the sun was slowly dipping behind the trees. Time was running out. Determined, Luna took off toward the forest's edge. Her small paws moved swiftly, her tail flicking anxiously. She reached a narrow path where people sometimes passed through, her eyes scanning the distance for any sign of life. She spotted a lone hiker walking briskly along the trail, and without hesitation she ran toward him. She meowed loudly, trying to get his attention. She circled their legs, brushing up against them, trying to lead them back toward the baby. But the hiker, a young man wearing headphones, barely glanced down at the persistent cat. He shrugged her off and continued walking, oblivious to Luna's cries. Frustrated but not defeated, Luna darted back toward the forest. She found the baby still lying there, shivering, the cries going weaker. Luna pressed herself against the baby once more, her body trembling with worry. She licked the baby's cheek, trying to soothe the little one, but it wasn't enough. The baby needed more than warmth. It needed help. Luna couldn't rest. She leaped to her feet and bolted down the path again, her sharp meows echoing through the trees. She spotted another passerby, this time a middle-aged woman. Luna did everything she could, meowing, circling, leading, but the woman didn't stop. She gave Luna a distracted look before hurrying on her way, unaware of the urgency. Exhausted but determined, Luna ran back once more. The baby's cries were fading, and the weight of the situation pressed on Luna's tiny shoulders. The forest felt bigger, darker. Luna lay beside the infant again, curling her body around it, refusing to give up. She wouldn't stop. Someone had to listen. She had to try again. The sun had risen higher in the sky by the time Luna made her way back to the forest's edge. Her energy was fading, but she wouldn't stop. This time she spotted a group of children playing near the entrance of the woods. They were laughing and chasing each other, unaware of Luna as she darted toward them. Tommy, the oldest of the group, was the first to notice her. He saw the little gray cat meowing loudly and moving in circles. Luna's desperate cries caught his attention, and he stopped running, calling out to the others to come over. The kids gathered around, curious. Luna kept circling them, meowing frantically, her eyes wide with urgency. Tommy, always the most curious, crouched down and reached out his hand, but Luna didn't stop. She was trying to lead them somewhere, pulling away, running a few steps, then turning back to make sure they were following. Tommy stood up, his brow furrowed. "I think she wants us to follow her," he said, glancing at the others. The younger kids exchanged nervous glances, unsure, but Tommy's curiosity got the best of him. He started to follow Luna into the woods. The other children hesitated at first, but one by one, they followed Tommy. Luna, sensing their attention, moved faster, darting ahead, but always looking back to make sure they were close. The deeper they went into the forest, the quieter it became. The sound of their laughter faded as they realized they were venturing far from their usual play area. The kids followed Luna for what felt like a long time, until suddenly Luna stopped. She stood still in a small clearing, her eyes focused on the ground ahead. Tommy stepped forward, his heart pounding in his chest. And there in front of him was something he never expected. A baby, tiny, wrapped in a thin blanket, lying in the leaves. Tommy's eyes widened, and for a moment none of the children spoke. The only sound was the soft whimpering of the infant, and Luna's gentle purring as she curled protectively beside the baby once again. Tommy gasped and turned to the others. "We need to get help," he whispered. Without waiting, they all ran back toward the village, leaving Luna behind with the baby. The children burst into the village, breathless and shouting for help. Tommy led the way, his face pale with urgency. "There's a baby in the woods," he yelled. People stopped what they were doing, confused at first. But when they saw the seriousness in Tommy's eyes, a small group quickly gathered. Among them was Sarah, a nurse who lived nearby. She immediately took charge, grabbing a blanket and telling the others to follow her. With the children leading the way, they hurried back into the forest. The village was small, and everyone knew each other. But this was something none of them had ever experienced before. The group followed Tommy and the other children through the winding forest paths until they reached the clearing. There they saw it, just as Tommy had described. The baby lay helpless on the ground, still wrapped in the thin blanket, with Luna curled around it as if she had been protecting it all along. Sarah rushed forward, kneeling beside the baby. Her hands were steady, but her heart raced as she gently picked the infant up. The baby's face was pale, its cries weak and tired, but it was alive. Luna looked up at Sarah, her eyes green, watching closely as if she understood the importance of this moment. Sarah wrapped the baby in the blanket she had brought, holding it close to her chest. "We need to get this baby to the clinic," she said, her voice calm but firm. The group turned to head back, and to their surprise, Luna followed. She stayed close to Sarah's side, never once letting the baby out of her sight. The villagers quickly made their way back, rushing to get the child the care it needed. Once at the clinic, Sarah and the local doctor worked to warm the baby, feeding it and checking its health. Luna sat patiently in the corner of the room, her eyes always on the child as if she knew she had to stay. The baby slowly began to stabilize. It had survived the cold night, and as Sarah gently rocked the baby in her arms, the tension in the room began to ease. The baby had been saved, thanks to the unlikely hero that was Luna. At the clinic, the baby, now warm and fed, started to recover, but something was still wrong. The moment Sarah or anyone else tried to leave the baby alone, he would start crying again, his tiny voice filling the room. The doctors and nurses tried everything, rocking him, feeding him again, checking for any signs of distress, but nothing seemed to soothe him. It was then that someone noticed Luna still sitting quietly in the corner. She hadn't left the baby's side since the rescue. Sarah, watching the cat, decided to try something different. Gently, she picked up Luna and brought her close to the crib. As soon as Luna was near, the baby stopped. The baby's face relaxed, his breathing steadying as Luna curled up beside him. The room fell silent, everyone staring in disbelief. The baby, who had been crying non-stop, now lay peacefully as if the cat's presence was the only thing that could calm him. Luna, content, purred softly, her small body pressed against the baby's side. It was as if the two had formed an unspoken bond. From that moment on, Luna stayed close to the baby. Wherever the baby went, Luna followed. The nurses, at first hesitant, allowed it because they couldn't deny the effect Luna had. The baby only slept soundly when Luna was nearby, and whenever the infant stirred, Luna would nuzzle close, purring him back to sleep. Word of the story spread quickly through the village. People came to the clinic just to see the cat and the baby, who had become inseparable. It was a bond no one could explain, but everyone understood it was something special. As the days passed, Sarah, who had helped care for the baby, made a decision. She adopted him, naming him Noah. And of course, Luna became a permanent part of their family. Noah and Luna grew together, their bond as strong as ever. Wherever Noah went, Luna was there too, like a guardian. Their story became one of love and loyalty, an unlikely friendship between a baby and a stray cat that had saved his life. Luna had found Noah, and in a way, they had saved each other. What are your thoughts on the twist we uncovered today? Comment your ideas below. Make sure to like and subscribe for a daily dose of drama and mystery. See you later with another twist.